Welcome to Uncensored Beat, where we give you the unfiltered truth. I'm Flor Blanco, and today we're going to take a brief look into the fight over AB1955. On Wednesday, August 7th, the Orange County Board of Education joined the Anderson Union High School District and the Chino Valley Unified School District in a lawsuit filed against California Governor Newsom to challenge California AB1955, known as the Safety Act. The Safety Act was drafted by California Assemblyman Christopher Ward, a Democrat of San Diego. It bans California schools from creating policies requiring parental notification in situations related to a student's sexual orientation or gender identity. The law arrives after school districts in California began establishing parental right notification policies last year in response to concerns about gender transitioning occurring within schools without parental knowledge. The official response from Attorney General Rob Bonta's office is, quote, "Our schools should be safe havens for all students, not places where some are marginalized for simply being who they are. Amidst the growing assault on LGBTQ+ rights in California and across the nation, it's crucial that schools take the necessary steps to create an environment where every student feels valued and affirmed for who they are. The Safety Act reaffirms students' constitutional and statutory rights not to be subjected to forced outing at school, and also reaffirms that forced outing policies and any form of retaliation against teachers, parents, and allies who protect students against such constitutional and statutory harms are a clear violation of state law. As we continue to reinforce California's commitment to provide safe and inclusive educational spaces that uphold the rights of all students, my office commends the LGBTQ caucus for their leadership and Governor Newsom for signing the Safety Act into law to ensure no student is ever forcibly outed against their will, especially when such disclosure could result in serious harm." End quote. Board President of the Orange County Department of Education, OCDE, Dr. Williams, is strongly opposed to the bill. He claims the Safety Act is Orwellian doublespeak and misidentifies the purpose of this bill. He claims that there is nothing that protects children and infants, and in fact, it puts children at great risk because parents will not be in the children's lives. Details of the Safety Act suggest types of parental notification policies as forms of harassment of school staff, as described in Section 2 of the bill. Assemblyman Ward's office purports that this is not a correct interpretation of the bill. Section 220.1 of the Education Code under AB 1955 clarifies in existing law that teachers cannot be retaliated against for simply doing their jobs, specifically by supporting them in exercising their existing rights under the law, as well as teaching approved educational materials. Assemblyman Ward's office believes that separately it is correct to state that the bill merely prohibits teachers and school staff from being compelled to out students. The bill does not ban these conversations from taking place on a case-by-case basis. Some opposed to the bill are concerned that it removes a parent or guardian's ability to seek disciplinary actions in situations where gender identity is not disclosed. The Safety Act does leave the discretion to disclose up to school staff, a decision which some have claimed that most staff members are not trained to handle. In response, Sonia Shaw, a parent and board president of Chino Valley Unified School District, CVUSD, states, quote, "Who in their right minds thinks it's a good idea to create and pass laws that make it illegal for parents to be a part of their child's educational experience? The morally corrupt political cartel of Thurman, Bonta, and Newsom. Remember their names, their unions, and special interest groups, and the harm they have done to families when you vote." End quote. Tracy Henderson, the founder of California Parents Union, points out, quote, "The plain text language of AB 1955 prohibits the enacting and enforcement of a policy, rule, or regulation to require school staff to notify parents and guardians about their child's sexual orientation or gender identity. It does not prohibit school staff from having those conversations with parents and guardians. Teachers can simply choose not to comply with a student's request to be called by a preferred pronoun. And any school district lawyer that tells you otherwise is giving bad legal advice." End quote. The bill arrived amidst growing support of gender-affirming care among institutions, such as the Children's Hospital of Orange County, CHOC, that have links to on-site supports within schools. These supports proliferated with the passage of California AB 1184 in 2021 that allowed minors 12 and over to seek mental health services without knowledge of the parent, and required insurance policies of parents to pay for such services without parental notification. Oddly, that bill did include disciplinary actions for insurance companies who would not comply. Simultaneously, there is word of a growing detransition movement among youth who opted for affirming care as minors, as mentioned in the movie No Way Back. The movie highlights detransitioners who describe the ease of obtaining affirmative care and admit that they would have benefited from hearing from someone that the transition state may be temporary. A large section of AB 1955 describes multiple supports that will be established for parents and guardians of children for situations related to sexual orientation and gender identity. This part of the bill beckons the question of how parents could receive these supports when the primary supports they are calling for is to be notified. When asked, Assemblymember Ward's office indicated that AB 1955 has nothing to do with gender-affirming medical treatment, which it must be noted that gender-affirming medical treatment already requires parental consent. For Assemblymember Ward's office, Section 217 of the Education Code under AB 1955 is designed to support parents, guardians, and families of LGBTQ plus students by providing them with critical supports and resources as they work towards acceptance on their own terms. It is crucial that students are able to talk with their families on their own terms and not at the whim of others. When asked the same question, Dr. Williams, board president of the Orange County Department of Education, responded that parents will lose their role as decision makers and caregivers when this law takes effect. This bill augments government agents as substitutes for parents. Funding supports to parents and guardians as promised under this bill could be a waste of taxpayer funds because parents and guardians would not be aware of their minor child transitioning due to the restrictions in this bill and won't enroll. When asked a question regarding this possibility, Assemblyman Ward's office responded. They reiterated again, a child cannot receive gender-affirming medical treatment without parental consent. So this question is a non-issue. It is not the role of a teacher to police their students' genders and sexual orientations and break hard-earned trust by forcibly outing students against their will. Parents are always free to have important conversations with their child about their child's gender identity at home, in an environment where privacy is not a concern, and where politicians do not set the rules and parameters around the private family discussion. The supports to parents and guardians under this bill ensure parents are equipped with the tools to have these conversations around identity at home. Board president of the Orange County Department of Ed, Dr. Williams, believes this bill presents a false and misleading message. It hurts local control of education and dismantles the rights of parents. Board president of the Chino Valley Unified School District, Sonia Shaw, provided her view. Quote, the signing of AB 1955, a gut and amend bill pushed through hastily, is an egregious act on constitutional parental rights. Governor Newsom, Attorney General Bonta, Superintendent Thurmond, and the rest of the political cartel have shown their true colors as cowards who prioritize special interests over the voices of parents. This legislation weaponizes the system against those who know and care for their children the most. It is morally corrupt and was enacted to prevent parents from exercising their rights and to avoid being outsmarted by a school district and parents who challenge them. It's always been about their ego, end quote. California Assemblyman Ward seemed to have quickly drafted AB 1955 after a citizen group failed to obtain enough ballots to place a citizen initiative that would allow the California voters to determine if parents should by law be notified about gender identity. When asked if this move was an example of a violation of power under the color of law, the office replied that Assemblymember Ward and the LGBTQ caucus had worked diligently on legislation to support LGBTQ plus students, their families, and teachers from forced outing policies for over a year. The member and caucus wanted to first allow for litigation to play out in court, to which there were rulings in favor of LGBTQ plus students' rights against forced outings. As such, Assemblymember Ward introduced AB 1955 after a year-long effort to codify existing protections against forced outings. Also, it must be noted that AB 1955 was introduced before the ballot proposal failed. The bill was not introduced in response to the ballot proposal. Dr. Williams of the Orange County Department of Education says that Ward is a government change agent and advances Marxification of education through Brazilian Paulo Freire's classic philosophy and indoctrination. The Chino Valley Unified School District Board President Sonia Shaw stated, quote, Chino Valley Unified School District is still being sued by Bonta, supported by his political cartel for what they called an illegal policy, all while they backed up a bill to make parental involvement illegal. Even Elon Musk is taking his company to Texas. This is a loss for families in California, and they are not alone in exiting due to the lawlessness and mess Newsom has brought into our beautiful state. The timing of Newsom's actions is horrific, given the recent attempted assassination of President Trump. It's slimy and shows a complete disregard for the well-being of families in California, end quote. In March 2024, Chino Valley Unified School District modified their original parental notification policy by getting rid of words referencing gender or bathrooms. Instead, the new policy requires a parent or guardian to be notified when a change is made to a student's record. The Liberty Justice Center, which is the firm representing the school boards fighting AB 1955, positioned the case as a violation of rights of parents and school staff secured by the First and 14th Amendments, and the statutes aligned with the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA, which requires parental access to all of a child's school records. Shaw shares the board's commitment, quote, regardless of death threats and attempts to silence us, we will not give in, and families will walk away winning in the end. Every parent in California is now aware of this betrayal and will rise to challenge it. We are grateful for the Liberty Justice Center representing us in this case. Unlike the political cartel who is wasting our hard-earned tax money, they never require a penny from us and allow us to fight the good fight. We will continue to fight relentlessly to protect our children and ensure that our rights are upheld. This battle is far from over, and we will not rest until justice is served and parental rights are fully restored, end quote. AG Bonta's office ensures the bill promotes student safety. His office stated that Attorney General Bonta is committed to providing his unwavering support to ensure every student has the right to learn and thrive in a school environment that promotes safety, privacy, and inclusivity. That is all regarding our coverage about the fight over California AB 1955. We hope that you enjoyed it and that you consider all that you've heard when you go to the ballot box this election season. Thank you again. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Uncensored Beat. I'm Flor Blanco. Until next time.